Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Kevin here, Top 1 Financial Advisor and best-selling author. We are here to talk about the stock market. Today is November 1st, which means it is the most wonderful time of the year. And no, not for Christmas music. Save it until after Thanksgiving. Don't do that. But for the stock market, this is the most wonderful time of the year. And that is because from November all the way through April, historically, even going all the way back to 1950, the stock market rises 7.5% on average. That is better than the other half of the year, which only rises 0.8%. So right now, if you were looking to buy, if you were scared, just sitting on the sidelines, this is your time to decide what it is you want to invest in, decide what it is you want to put on your watch list. I'm going to give you just a few ideas to consider. Now, first, let's talk about the history. Number one, we've actually covered this topic I feel like every year around this time, and it's just the way the stock market moves. I don't really know of any serious reason as to why this happens. There is a thing called sell in May and go away, where people sell and just kind of wait out the summer months. And the reason historically, or at least legend has it, is because when stock market investing was primarily for rich people, which it is not anymore, they would sell, go to Martha's Vineyard, go on their yacht and whatever, and not really watch the stock market. Because remember, back then you had to call people, you had to look at the newspaper and figure out what the market was doing. You don't have to do that anymore. So that was the history, or at least the legend, as to why the stock market fell during the second half of the year. Because remember, November to April, then you had May, right? And so May all the way through until people come back to school and everything in September, October, and then November. And in fact, October was the best month that we had since 1976. So things might be headed in the right direction. Again, things might be headed in the right direction. This is still a crazy year. There's still a lot of other factors, including the Federal Reserve meeting tomorrow, that may help or hurt the stock market. We'll see. The other thing you want to know too about November especially is that in midterm election years, over the last 10 years, November has been the best month to invest as well. The average rise just for November alone, I have it here, is 2.6%. So remember, November through April by itself on average is 7.5. November by itself in a midterm election year, which this year is, if you haven't seen by all the crazy advertising, I live in North Carolina and it's real bad. But aside from all of that, November is up 2.6% on average in midterm election years. So again, all the stars are aligning. Now for me, y'all know what it is. I invest every Friday anyway, so it really doesn't matter, except that I get to see, hopefully, a whole lot more green inside my portfolio. So if you are looking for something to invest in or add to your watch list and think just a little bit more about, I'm going to give you 3 ideas all in the same category because all this makes sense. The other thing too, I'm going to point you to another resource. It is the members only. I gave out 10 stocks that also pay dividends that were doing incredibly well. I think on average, all the stocks were up at least 30% in the last 6 months. You do not want to miss that. Now, if you're already in the members only, feel free to go back and replay that one if you missed it. If you are, you need to join right now because that was an amazing list. Now, I know that you probably looking at the screen and say, hey, that says 7. I actually gave you 3 bonus ones. Okay, so it was 10 total. Okay, I know. Okay. All right. So aside from that, here are 3 things I would consider. One of these is on that list of companies that have paid dividends. The first one is, I've talked a little bit about this before. This is GPC, Genuine Parts Company. They paid an increasing dividend for 66 consecutive years and is up 38% in the last 6 months. In a year like this, I don't think I can overstate how amazing a stock can be if it is up 38% in the last 6 months. And pays a dividend, and has been doing so for twice my age. I just turned 33 over the weekend. Yeah, it's like that. Okay, it is twice my lifetimes that they have been paying a rising dividend, not just a regular dividend, a dividend that has increased for 66 consecutive years. However, that's not the only stock that's out there. You also have O'Reilly. I do own O'Reilly. That is ORLY. I've had it for maybe, it's got to be 2 going on 3 years at this point. It has done incredibly well for me. And you also have AutoZone, AZO. All of these are in the auto parts repair business. Now, the reason why I'm looking at these, and I already own one of them, I may also be adding GPC here pretty soon, is because when you are expected to go into a recession, people tend to hold on to their cars a whole lot more. They tend to decide to do their own oil changes. They decide to just, hey, I can't afford to go out and buy a car. And if interest rates continue to rise, it's going to be even more expensive to buy a new car. So what do people do? They go to the mechanic a lot more. Sometimes they do some more of their own repairs. And cars are lasting a lot longer. Gas-powered cars are lasting a lot longer. So that's another reason to kind of circle these and continue to look at them to add them on your watch list. They're not the only stocks out there to pay attention to, but these are three I think are easy for everyone to understand and will continue to do well. I would say for the near term future. I don't just mean over the next 6 months and over the next year. I have full confidence that will be the case. I put my own money on the line with O'Reilly to do so. And again, I may also be buying GPC to double down on that, if you will. The other thing too, when I say medium term, is let's say long term, long to medium term. So when I think long term, I'm thinking 10, 15 years. Medium long term, I know I'm confusing terms here, but in the case, let's say like 5 years. Yes, electric cars are going to be a thing. Yes, electric cars are a threat to these businesses because you can't just go and do your own oil change with a Tesla. You don't have no oil, right? And those batteries are not something that you can just come home and just kind of fix on your own, or go to your local O'Reilly or Napa Auto. GPC owns Napa, and get your own parts and stuff. You cannot do that. Okay, it's a lot more complex, which is a benefit to Tesla versus some of these smaller stores. However, it is going to be a very long time until everybody gets an electric car, and we also don't have the power grid in the United States to even support everybody having an electric car yet. So that is something 10 or 15 years down the line. Between now and then, these could continue to be really good investments. And even in an electric future, as long as those cars exist, and they will exist for plenty more years beyond this next 15 years, as long as those are on the road and they still need servicing, those companies are going to be beneficial. But I think especially over the next 6 months to a year, they're going to be a very good stock to be in. They also have shown that for this year as well. Even in rising interest rates, even in inflation, even in supply chain issues, which have started to loosen just a bit, but they are still out there. So those are just a few ideas to think about. Again, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Again, check out the members only. Again, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and do not play Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. Okay? And if you don't do it, I'm going to have to fight you in the comments. I just am. Okay? All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.